Life. Let's first find the meaning of life. So let's go to the English dictionary and find, yes, Eshigoni for letting me know, because I wouldn't have known that it's lagging. Life. This is Saturday morning on our broadcast, our lecture room, where we discuss everything that has impact to the life. Because if I don't discuss it with you, nobody else might discuss it. So let's find the meaning of life. L-I-F-E, life. So let's look at the pronunciation.
Life.
Kí ló pè?
Life.
Life. L-I-F-E. The moment you stop breathing, what is supported pẹ̀lú oxygen. Mo mọ̀ bí àwọn hospital Nigeria ní oxygen tó lè máa fi support èèyàn. The moment tí o bá lè breathe fún rẹ, a gbọ́dọ̀ lè fún ẹ ní oxygen. I remember when my mom was at the hospital, may God continue to bless her soul, and she was given oxygen. And I was speaking to a beautiful sister of mine in US. I'm one funny reading oxygen here. Only oxygen ton fún yen. As at that time, I tell mo pé ọlọ́jọ́ máa dé. Only it is normal because Allah ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń ṣe dáadáa lágbàáyé, she's one of them. In a big hospital somewhere in one of the states in America. So the moment tí mo fún ní reading yẹn pé in tí mo rí lára oxygen yẹn lélẹ̀, Nigeria ló máa ra oxygen fún family ẹ̀ tó máa tún yọ tó máa gbé fẹ́ lòmíì tó máa tà. Life ẹni tó need oxygen yẹn tẹ́yìn send owó sí ní Nigeria. Life ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ń dù, but àwọn tó wà lọ́sibítù ò do life ẹ̀. Wọ́n do life ẹ̀. Because tó bá do life ẹ̀ ni, ó jẹ́ káwọn governors wa kí lẹ sọ sá bàbá mi tiny titles ni life is complex. Láti gbà tí ìyá mi ti kú nísìn, I have to adjust a lot of things because láàárọ̀ Saturday mo lè ti pè á ti pè mí á ní kí n bá òun ra fruit wá á ní kí n bá òun ra kí n yà ní Sainsbury's ó like Sainsbury's fruit á fún mi ní list. I still have all the WhatsApp messages tí èmi àti ìyá mi. I've not, because my mother's WhatsApp is pinned to the first. Ẹ mọ̀ pé ó lè pin èèyàn mẹ́ta. Ìyá mi ni number 1 tí mo pin sókè. So even though she has died, every time I open my WhatsApp, I'm still seeing her details. So life is a complex, life-sustained, evolving process characterized metabolism, homeostasis, growth, adaptation, reproduction. And in lifetime being in Nigeria ò tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn. Ṣé kò jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀ ní ká dákẹ́? Ká má bàa upset ẹ̀yin kan. Kí o tí bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ life ẹ nínú Nigeria, tí wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé life ẹ ó wà valuable, kò wà valuable, but ẹ̀tọ́ Koikimedia ni pé kí n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa life ẹ. Ó bá disagree pẹ̀lú mi because èmi rí pé life tá ń gbé nínú Nigeria yẹn láti ìgbà tí wọ́n náà ti create Nigeria kò ń ṣe life tó tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn. So let's look at the English dictionary of life. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, and you're listening to Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Ṣé mo rí ní need náà ìṣá? I waste náà. I need it. Reflection and all that donata. And tó bá dé rí wa ohun mi lè need. The condition that distinguish animals and plants. Ewé ló wà ní gbogbo ta tí mo rí ẹ̀mí tí ń padà sí wọn lára, because during the winter is like the life dies in the trees. How many of you notice that? Those of us in Europe ni mo ń sọ, ó lè má dibẹ̀ ní Africa. Do you know that when winter approaches, ewé á dẹ̀ máa gbẹ? Kí ló ń jẹ́ kó gbẹ? Kí ló ń fà tó fi ń gbẹ? Ẹ ṣé gan ni Princess Doyin, wọ́n ní ikú ló máa pa àwọn tó ní kẹ́ má sọ̀rọ̀. A ṣe ní sọ̀rọ̀. So now torí pé mo ń sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn, ó ń upset ẹ̀yin kan pé à ń pè fún life wa nínú Nàìjíríà gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá. Mo náwọn ẹ̀yà tó kú ò dá, àní ìran tèmi jẹ mí lógún, ìran tèmi lèmi ń bá sọ̀rọ̀. Life, ẹ̀mí yín, life. Mo kí láàárọ̀ ẹ ṣé gan ni gbogbo ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ ká ṣì sọ àníṣẹ́ yìí. Ẹ̀yin náà la máa bá, torí tí bá ń dá sọ̀rọ̀, Olúwa ti di wèrè nìyẹn. Mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ pé bẹ́ ṣe wọlé, ẹ̀yin náà bá mi wọlé. Mo kí Mr. Excellent Official. When I am glad to see you here today. Àmọ́ wà níbẹ̀ lójoojúmọ́. Ó kọ́ ẹ pé mo ní time àti day tí mo lè sọ pé ìjọba ẹ̀ lè máa bá Koiki pàdé. But ẹ bá ti follow wa, tí bá go live, ẹ rí. Mo kí má jàjẹ́ ẹ̀sìn. Fi àwọn ẹlẹ́sìn sílẹ̀. Ẹni tó bá believe nǹkan kan fi sílẹ̀. But in terms of ni pé life tá à ń gbé nínú Nàìjíríà ó ní impact sí life àwọn ọmọ Oòduà. Torí kò ń ṣerú life yẹn la fẹ́. So, but ká tó lè máa sọ̀rọ̀ life in Nigeria, àti mọ Nigeria a lè gbé lọ sórí Netflix. Okay, brother mi, ó ṣe mo rí ẹ. Bá ń kíyàwó ẹ àtàwọn ọmọ Oòduà lọ́hùn. So the meaning of life, if I tell anybody to describe Nigeria in one word, and the phone line is open, Tabare tó fi dá sí, I'm sure you will have something to say about Nigeria. Lánàá, we were actually giving the breakdown of a military era of Nigeria that destroyed almost everything called your life in Nigeria. Because during the military time, our life has not been impacted by all the coups and all the military generals till date. Ìyà military era la ṣì ń jẹ dọ̀la yìí. Àtúwá bọ́ sí civilian era, democracy, a gbọ́dọ̀ lè sọ̀rọ̀. Ìgbà military ni ológun tó lè sọ̀rọ̀ tó máa fi ìbọn lé ẹ. During democracy time, we want Yoruba nation doesn't mean we will be, push aside and say, no, no. In tó ń pè ní democracy nìyẹn. Ẹ máa debate, ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ máa fà níwájú, ẹ máa fà lẹ́yìn. Báwa bá náà fẹ́ Yoruba nation, àwọn olóṣèlú wa lè sọ pé kò tí tó àsìkò. But we must continue to engage and discuss. The phone number is still the same. Plus the UK code. Plus 44 74 04 40 5917. Plus 44 74 04 40 5917. So we are trying to understand the meaning of life. Ká tó wá padà sí life yẹn, LIFE, a fẹ́ jù sínú Nigeria. Báwo ni life ẹni tó ń gbé ní UK kò ṣe ní wá better? No, let's put it this way. Báwo ni life ẹni tó wà ní abroad, ní Europe? Báwo ni life ẹ ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ dájú ẹni tó wà ní Africa? Kí ló dé tí life wọ̀ dá l'Africa? We must never wish for any military. Tí military bá gbàjọba lọ́wọ́ Tinubu lẹ́ni, ẹ jẹ́ kó ra fi sílẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Kó sì já karama manage democracy yẹn. Because nínú democracy làwa náà ti ráyè sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn. Because yes, people will be petition. Koiki bó ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, a lè petition ibo ló ti rí evidence. Ìyẹn normal ni ama. Bill Lord was taken to court. Wọ́n máa lọ sí court ni. But ní military era, wọ́n máa tiẹ̀ mọ́lé sínú dungeon. Wọ́n ní jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn rí ẹ, wá pa ẹ́. Iṣẹ́ military nìyẹn. And that is why we must not allow any military. Bọ́mọ Yíbò sọ̀rọ̀ ní bíbá ìkókó jágbàjàgbà lọ. Àwọn máa lè. Ní kàn mí pẹ̀lú ọmọ Yíbò. Ìgbòho is recruiting, go and join in. Kò ní dá fún bàbá ẹ̀. Àwọn tó bí ọ̀rí sórí ọmọ Yíbò. Tó bá dẹ̀jọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn. Àwọn tó ní ẹ́. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó jèrè ẹ̀. I'm not talking to the Igbo people. What concern me and Igbo people and Hausa people and Fulani people. I'll be talking to my Yoruba people. So don't come on my platform and be telling me about nonsense of your own, whatever you think about, Igbowo. Igbowo na you Igbo person. Why are the am I being more debate? Kilo mancha omo Igbo ye. Why are you more worried about we Yoruba people of the step Igbowo is taking? Igbowo is no more a freedom fighter. Okay, he's not a freedom fighter. What is your problem with that? Kini problem yin pẹ̀lú yẹn? Èyí tó yẹ pé ẹ máa ń kick ìyá yín látorí bẹ́ẹ̀dì ni. Èyí tẹ́ ní culture. Ṣé ẹ ní culture ni? I'm Mali. And I'm not talking to those that respect my views. And tó bá ti respect the views me from the perspective of a Yoruba man, tó jẹ́ ọmọ Igbo, àwọn tó nílò ní jẹ́ káwọn bí ẹ jèrè ẹ. Ní ṣépè fáwọn ọmọ Yorùbá. But ẹ̀yin ọmọ Igbo tẹ́ bá wá sórí platform wa, tẹ́ ń sọ kábàkàbà, èpè àwọn alálẹ̀ la máa fi tì í sẹ́yìn. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my Yoruba people. Can call me tribalistic and whatever. Kò sí tó kàn mí. Because British is divided to Wales, Scottish, and English. What the more? Let's come back to the discussion. Live, Emi Awenyo. Please power tap and invite others. I'm live. The condition that distinguish animals and plants from inorganic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity. Ewe lo ti ń jáde báyìí. Mo lè fún yín ní view a little bit o. Mo lè turn camera and send you. Kò mean anything. Kẹ́lẹ̀ bá rí òun ni. Fẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà lórí Facebook. Ṣé ti rí ewé yẹn? Ṣé rí? Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà níbí báyìí. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ sọ fún mi pé ṣé rí. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí TikTok nìkan lè má rí. How many of you can see what I'm looking at from my back view? Bí ewé ṣe wà kọ́ nìyẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ o. Ewé tẹ́ ń rí bí ó ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀ kọ́ nìyẹn. Let me bring it back to my screen. This shows that a ti ń lọ sí spring. Ẹ̀mí ti ń padà sára àwọn ewé yẹn. Ewé tó gbẹ tèmi fojú mi rí ní gbogbo winter tí gbogbo igi gbẹ pátápátá. Ewé yẹn ti nourish. Ẹ̀mí ti padà sára ẹ̀. Kí ló dé tí àwọn èèyàn wa nílẹ̀ káàárọ̀ jíire lénìí? Kí ni reason? Gẹ́gẹ́ bí àkọlé ètò ti ọ̀sán yìí. Torí a ti ń lọ sí aago 12 fi lọ lù. Life in Nigeria, cost of living crisis. Kí ló dé tẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣe tí àwọn èèyàn wa máa fi gbégbé ayé tó dáa? Give them the welfare that they need. Support ẹni tó bá ní disability challenge and make it the enabling environment. Why táwọn governors wọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ tó tó yẹn? Why táwọn deputy governor? Why tí àwọn politicians ní house tí wọ́n make àwọn òfin tó máa favour ọmọ Yorùbá against any other person? Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni mo ń sọ. I'm not talking about ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ ní South East. Ọmọ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ take advantage nínú state against any other Nigerians. It doesn't matter. Because state one, even though they can say we are one Nigeria. We are never one Nigeria. The one says, and I quote, by the time we Yoruba were wearing ashoke, wearing leather armor, sitting on horses, just like brother mi tó bá ń gbé cigar, tá bá ń ṣe ojúde ọba yẹn. Princess Doyin sọ pé greediness ni. Èèyàn kan fẹ́ kó gbogbo wealth, kó dẹ̀ kó sí àpò ara ẹ̀, kó wá máa yọ díẹ̀díẹ̀. Kò jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn àtúnṣe làwa fi ń pariwo pé tí Nàìjíríà yóò bá wọ́ọ̀kì fún wa ká wá solution sí. But àwọn kan ní òkè kò lè tí rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká béèrè fún restructure. Ṣé rántí àwọn Yorùbá assembly. But mo kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ lọ sí cost of living ní Nàìjíríà lénìí, nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lénìí kò ṣe kódà even ní ìlú gan self àti gba yàrá kan fáwọn èèyàn wa ó difficult. Kí ló dé tó gbọ́dọ̀ lè tó yẹn? Why must our people have to suffer just to get a single room tó máa gbé as ọ̀dọ́? Why are we not implementing and putting things in place that would have great impact? Policies, implementation, infrastructures. Kí ló dé táwọn governors ò kọ́ many houses? Nígbà tí mo tán camera mi lẹ́ẹ̀kan, wọ́n kọ́lé síwájú mi bí ṣe ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. 18 and 12 bedrooms. Wọ́n kọ́ sọ́n kan lọ́n, wọ́n kọ́ sínú ọgbà tèmi wà. Gbogbo aláran tí bàbá Jákàndé tó kọ́ àwọn ilé. Lára ilé tí bàbá Jákàndé kọ́ lèmi láǹfààní àti gbé lọ́dọ̀ grandma mi ní Adéníjàdélé ní phase 2. Ṣé gbogbo èèyàn ló máa ní billions and millions of naira láti lọ ra ilẹ̀ tó máa ra ilé ni? Why is life in Nigeria difficult for Yoruba people? Who do we hold accountable? Democracy láwa a gbọ́dọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ ní lè ní ká má sọ̀rọ̀ nínú democracy sí ní ìjọba military. And kò dẹ̀ mí pé torí a fẹ́ self-determination fáwọn tá believe in the dissolution of Nigeria. Ká má wá sọ pé ìyà tó ń jà wọ́n òyàn wa ká wá dákẹ́. We must continue to nail it until tó bá gbọ́. Whether they want Nigeria, they must make life of our people work. The life of our people must work in Nigeria. Ṣé fìlà yẹn ṣó lọ dáadáa? Omi tafkù tí ológe sí mi. Àwọn aṣọ yìí ti pẹ́, kò ń ṣe ti níwọ̀n tí mo ṣẹ̀ kó dé. Àwọn níwọ̀n yẹn mò ń tọ́jú ẹ̀ torí àwọn wedding kan máa jáde ní summer yìí tèmi náà fi bá wọn lọ. Tí bá dẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wọ̀ nísìn, àwọn èèyàn ti rí pé ó ti wọlé rí. Let's go back to the meaning of life. Good morning once again. ẹ bá wa máa comment, ẹ bá wa share. Ẹlòmíì láti lè share program wa sí orí page wọn ó máa ń look like pé mo kí àwa Ọmọlára Ìyábọ̀ Àjàlá. I don't think they do that in that country because they are all heartless and they are all wicked soul. Make life àwọn èèyàn wa. People that are in Yoruba land, well, they are not asking for much. They're just asking for iPhone mi àti ibi tí mo dúró sí yẹn ni. Ó ti sọ pé irọ́ ló pa. Ó ti ṣe kéde. So Kajako, I think it's because I'm charging it and I'm also facing the sun. More than so probably an hour program because èmi náà níbi tí mo fẹ́ lọ. So let's hope that comes back. Mo ti fi sínú fridge kó lè tutù díẹ̀ so that a lè padà. Mo kẹ́yìn yẹn wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ọbẹ̀ Elédùmarè a túbọ̀ wà pẹ̀lú wa. A ní ṣe lásán làálàá kókó wa jọ̀ǹjọ̀ wa a kúkú dé ibi tá à ń fẹ́. Wọ́n ní ibi tá à ń lọ kò jìn púpọ̀. Ibi tá à ń yà sí káàkiri òun ló make it look like that. So let's go back. Ẹ má bínú ẹ̀ tẹ́ wà lórí YouTube o. Ó kàn sọ fún mi pé fóònù yẹn ó gbóná púpọ̀. So mo ti yọ kúrò lára charger. Mo sáré jù sínú fridge there ni o. Now let's come back because 1 hour náà ni mo fẹ́ fi digest ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ká dẹ̀ máa lọ. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí ètò. Now mo kàn jókòó láàárọ̀ yìí. In tó prompt ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ẹni tó bá ń gbọ́ channels láàárọ̀ yìí they're talking about cost of living. In táwọn náà sọ̀rọ̀ lórí nìyẹn lórí channels morning show wọn láàárọ̀ in tó prompt tí mo fi wá jáde nìyẹn o pé kémi náà kọ́ sọ pé kí ló fà bí ẹ̀yin tẹ̀dẹ̀ nílà káyè jọ wa lọ ẹ̀ lè help wa yàtọ̀ sáwà tí a fẹ́ dissolution of Nigeria. So nígbà tí mo wá lọ sórí Google mo kọ type in kí ni báwo mo ṣe type ẹ̀. I typed Nigeria cost of living. Mo kàn type ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ sórí Google and right there and there ó pop up pẹ̀lú one article. So article yẹn lájọ máa digest tí máa kà. Article yẹn was put out by DW. DW is a German media. In case you don't know, they are like another media similar to BBC, Sky News and all that. And I think here is Germany Loni, DW. So, who owns Dutch Wellies, Longe? They're very popular just like the BBC or your own TVC in Nigeria. So, DW is the short word for it, but it's actually called German. Bí olóyè lè understand ẹ̀ kọ́ pé pronounce it dáadáa bí ìyàwó wọn ẹ̀wọ̀n kí mi gbé ní Germany. Deutsche Welle, ṣé mo pronounce it dáadáa yìí tẹ́ wà ní Germany? Deutsche Welle is a German public international broadcast owned by Federal Republic of Germany. So is equivalent to the BBC owned by the government. It's not a private. Èèyàn kan béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi pé how can we help the Yoruba people in Kwara State? Question mark. Kí lẹ́yìn náà rò báwo lẹ ṣe rò pa lè help wọn? So let's come back to the article. So àwọn ọlọ́kọ̀ article yìí. This article was pushed out on the 1st of January ọdún yìí 2026. Inú ibẹ̀ ni mo ti yọ picture tí ó wà lẹ́yìn yín ní TikTok àtẹ̀yìn tí ẹ wà lórí Facebook. Èmi kọ́ ni mò ń ta àwọn nǹkan tẹ́ ń rí yẹn. Ṣòfẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà lórí YouTube ẹ ti rí thumbs mi pé mo fi picture no that picture ara mi ni mo lò. Anyway, let's go further. This was put together by Martina Shiwikowiski. Oríṣiríṣi orúkọ ló wà láyé. Mo kẹ́yìn yan wa. Báwo ni mo ṣe fi mọ price pineapple mi ò sí Nàìjíríà. Èyí tó bá wà Nàìjíríà lè máa béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Mo ní picture yẹn was extracted from this particular media tí mo ti rí information tí mo fẹ́ kà yìí. Nigerians face soaring food prices. Soaring. SOARING. Àwọn òyìnbó tó máa ń lò yìí ó máa ń fúnyàn ní ó máa ń da brain wa rú. So I have to go and look for the meaning. I know it, but just to get a bit of, fún gbogbo wa náà ni. The word
soaring,
ó fò lókè. Wọ́n ní nígbà kan bag of rice ó lè tẹ́ ń rà petrol iye kan ni. Tí ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ó ti yé yín ẹ ti get nǹkan tó mean. Ó yàtọ̀ sí irú èmi Koikimedia tí mo wá Nàìjíríà tí mo wá padà pẹ̀lú flying plane tó lọ sí 30,000 feet 32,000 tá à ń jẹ yànmùyàn tá à ń ṣe yànmùyàn nínú ẹlòmíà lọ jàǹbá ṣẹlẹ̀ àdúpẹ́ pàwọn lọ pàm padà. So increase rapidly above usual level. Nǹkan kan lọ sókè gbìgì kí ló ń fà tó fi ń lọ sókè kí ló dé tó já wálẹ̀. Why is it soaring? Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin yan wa, a very welcome to our discussion this morning. Martins Ọláṣẹ́yìndé mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ti Kogi State àti dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín lánàá. This is another topic, this is another day, and this is another discussion. And we want to make it nice and easy, bam, 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 and then we can all go and do other things. So I'm not going to keep you too long. So let's read the article. Tibawa Katon, I want you to tell me, kí lẹ̀yin feel pé ṣé lóòótọ́ ni article yìí àbí wọ́n kò exaggerated. Nigerian face high, mo ti sọ meaning sorry nìyẹn, nǹkan tó ń fly. Ẹni tó ń wa ọ̀kadà àti ẹni tó ń wa Ferrari, ìkànnì wọn méjèèjì ṣá, alura wọn. Soaring food prices after subsidy cut amid record inflation. But President Bola Tinubu Eshegoni, the one YQ, what fún wa ní super chat, wọ́n ní Koiki, fún tó gbé wá yìí, Oòduà gbé wá, àwọn ọmọ Oòduà tata. Thank you so much for the super chat, we're grateful. And all those that have joined us and all our families and friends. But President Bola Tinubu says reforms will pay off, but daily life is getting harder. The president says he's doing everything possibly best to make your life cost of living in Nigeria, but it doesn't seem to be going down, is it? Let me ask this question. Ṣé aláwọn tó ń sabotage pé kí life àwọn Nigerians kó má lọ sókè rárá? Kó kó má drop, kó má drop wálẹ̀. Ṣé I am not talking about this particular present administration. I'm just talking about the history of Nigeria. Is there a deliberate mission to make sure that our lives as Nigerians will not be as we want it? Now we can now say, okay, based on President Tinubu says he will do everything possibly best to make our life better. Subsidy was removed, but nothing has really changed. We know that. But the question is, even within his government, ṣé aláwọn kan tó wà nínú government yẹn pé àníṣe ebi máa pa àwọn èèyàn, epo máa wọ́n. Ẹ ṣé gan ni ìyàwó Bọ́lá, àwọn náà ní Koiki, mo support ẹ with £2 láàárọ̀ ẹ̀. Kò wá sí owó tó kéré, mo máa ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn, kò sí owó tó kéré. Every little helps. Bàbá mi Adégòkè sọ pé Koiki kò ń ṣe àwọn tó wà ní government nìkan. Kódà ẹ ṣé gan ni great life coach ní ẹ share program yìí. Ọ̀rọ̀ tárákùnrin yìí sọ kò kúkú ṣe tààrẹ ibi tó wà ebi ò lè pa. Bébí bá pa gan àwa tó máa jẹ káàkiri. So thank you so much everyone. And I'm not going to take your time because it's Saturday and I want you to do other things. But mo kàn sáré mu wá gbà tèmi náà gbọ́ tó ń sọ lórí channels. Mo ní kémi náà wá sọ fáwọn èèyàn tiwa pé kí ló ń fà tí the cost of living ní Nàìjíríà tó ń high kò dẹ̀ wálẹ̀. Ṣé President Tinubu nìkan ni a máa blame fún cost of living? Ṣé governors wa nìkan la máa blame? Ṣáwọn olówó la máa blame? Ṣáwọn àwọn èèyàn ńláńlá tó ń bẹ nínú Nàìjíríà? Ṣáwọn northerners la fẹ́ blame? Ṣé north la fẹ́ blame? Ṣé south la fẹ́ blame? Ṣé Benue is the food basket of Nigeria, but àwọn Fúlàní ò jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn lọ sóko. So that means pé ẹ̀yà kan wà nínú Nàìjíríà tó yàtọ̀ sí pé politics, ẹ̀yà kan tó wà nínú Nàìjíríà tó yẹ pé wọ́n fẹ́ make life tó kókó le kókó fáwọn èèyàn wa. Lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ebi ni mo sọ nísìn. Because how can we say we have vast amount of lands in that country called Nigeria? Ebi dẹ̀ ń pa àwọn èèyàn. when insurgency, when terrorists are moving with heavy force to destroy and make our life difficult, then what do? We fold our hands. The president says they are doing their best to stop the insurgency. The military are saying they are doing their best, but over 700 were just reintegrated back into the society. Sometimes I'm wondering, ṣé President Tinubu ló wà in charge? Àbí Sultan of Sokoto? Because implementation Buhari yẹn, tó ń bábọ̀ yẹn, tó bá jẹ́ mi ni President Tinubu sometimes must operate like Donald Trump. We might not like him, but àwọn kan wà tó máa ṣe tó yẹ pé just put a full stop to it. Why are we integrating people that have killed a lot of Nigerians back into the society? Mukiyawa Bola Nelson. Muna ne pese, mo wo time. Mo fẹ́ kó stick to 1 hour. So ẹ jẹ́ ká ka article yẹn. Torí pé a sì tún máa padà wá later. A tún máa náà program mi táwọn staff wa náà máa ṣe. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin yan wa pé láàárọ̀ yìí, lọ́sàn yìí, níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ọbẹ̀ Elédùmarè ò ní fi wá sílẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kà lọ désàlẹ̀. The price of food and basic products sharply rose after Tinubu ended the fuel subsidy program. Ria James, a teacher at a primary school in Surulere, níbi tẹ́mi ti ṣe Onward Nursery and Primary School, nígbà tí a wà ní kékeré, Lagos has to spend more on transport than ever before. Owó táwọn èèyàn gbà ní owó níbi iṣẹ́ nísìn kò tó owó tó fi ń wọ mọ́tò. Kò ká. I mean, you are getting 70,000 naira and you have spent almost 100,000 for transport alone. Mo mọ iye tá fi wọ mọ́tò nígbà tẹ́mi náà wá sí Nàìjíríà ní year yìí. From point A to point B, mo mọ iye tí wọ́n ń gbà lọ́wọ́ wa. And I was going on the public transport because I just wanted to experience it, like I always say. So, yes, some of us can afford it. Níbẹ̀ ló máa réyàn tó máa wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́. Ẹ fún mi 100 naira ń bẹ̀ ẹ jọ̀ọ́ sá. Ẹ fún mi ní 500. And not everybody is poor in Nigeria, but according to the information that we have, 60%, about 140 million Nigerians are living in abject poverty. Okay, Mighty, thank you so much for the gift. We so much appreciate that. Every little helps. So, one day, teacher kan wà ní Surulere, ó ní owó tóun fi ń wọ mọ́tò, owó tóun fi ń wọ mọ́tò, owó tóun fi ń wọ mọ́tò. Ẹ filẹ̀, Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí n tó rí. Mo ti rí pé ẹ bá mi báyàn kan sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, ó ti sá lọ sókè ni, a tún padà wá. Torí àwọn a ti mọ̀ pé àwọn kan orúkọ mo ti rí ẹni tí mo wá, èyí tó máa kọ ọmọ ni ọmọ àlè. Kò ní disturb yín wọn. Owó tí whether I calm níta díẹ̀ nísìn, calm, I can feel it even right inside here. I dey need weather yẹn torí pé vitamin C and really need púpọ̀ ní bíbá. The cost of transport in Lagos today, many of our people are living in Sangwater. Wá jí ní 4 o'clock, wọ́n bọ̀ ní Èkó, Ìdúmọ̀tà láti wá tajà. And when you go to those axes, mo mọ̀ yàn kan tó ń lọ sí ọ̀nà bẹ̀yẹn báyìí nísìn, tó bá débẹ̀, màá ní kó ṣe fídíò, tó bá I mean, you know, Nigeria, you got to be very careful to make videos because kí ló ń ṣe fídíò wa fún, kí ló ń record wa fún. It's a busy place, but many of those time don't spend lórí títì kó tó dé ìsọ̀ wọn, kó lọ jẹ́ kẹ́mi yẹn kó last. Because we need more. I know Governor Sanwo-Olu, they're pushing to put more red line so that you don't spend more time on the road. We want people to move swiftly. And for that to happen, there must be great development across all the Yoruba land. And that is why, while Tinubu is there right now, let them pump more money to the southwest. Àwọn Babangida pump owó lọ sí north. Wọ́n ní títì wọ́n máa ń tẹ́ ni. Ẹ pump owó padà wá sọ́dọ̀ tiwa náà. Kí owó tí ó ń jáde ní Lagos State, kí a lè rí impacted in the lives of our people. Because some of you don't know that time spent on the road. The time you spend on that road, and 3 hours, 4 hours, So let's move swiftly because of the time. There is hardly anything left after my salary. I mean, you don't take my salary. Ìlú yìí náà, bàbá ṣe ń gbà náà làwa náà ṣe ń ná. Tó bá gba £200 nísìn, bí a ò ṣiṣẹ́ ó gba £200. Nísìn, èmi náà máa ra bus pass mi ní Monday, ó pẹ́ jù. Ó ti expire látijọ́ Wednesday. Ó yẹ kí n rà mí ní Wednesday, but because mo really jáde lọ anywhere, mo kọ̀ pé kí ni ìgbà tí mo jáde lánàá mo kọ̀ ṣe single touch, and that's about £1.70. Ìgbà tí mo tún padà, but tó bá máa fi di Monday, mo gbọ́dọ̀ ra £24.70. But mo mọ̀ pé £24.70 yẹn ti bá lọ lórí títì yàtọ̀ sí tó bá ń ṣe road works. Bọ́ọ̀sì tó bá sọ pé òun máa dé Dustin, òun máa dé Liverpool Street, òun máa dé Peckham, òun máa dé Harrow, tí mo dẹ̀ wọ bọ́ọ̀sì yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ gbé mi débẹ̀. I don't want to spend hours on the bus. Tó bá wá sọ pé ó fẹ́ jẹ́ kó yá, wà lọ sórí underground. But why are Nigerians' salary not enough to take them for the next week? Ó ti gba salary fáwọn tó tẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́ nìyẹn, because millions of you are not working. Ó gbà tó wá gba salary yẹn, by the time you look at that salary, ó ti kúrò lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, because why? Ó ti fi wọ transport. Kò dẹ̀ sí subsidy kankan láti iléeṣẹ́ àbí látọ̀dọ̀ federal government. The one YQ6 sọ pé Yoruba nation or Yoruba nation, whichever one is okay with me. I wasn't really a Tinubu man and still not, but he has my respect for now because of Sunday Igboho situation. Yes, that is a fact. We don't force Tinubu on anybody. Nika told I think Tinubu, I want force a little more Yoruba. No, what we are saying is that the chances of Yoruba nation, the chances might be 0.000.1, but the chances that Tinubu that is there, we can still do something than Tinubu not being there. Because I don't know if Peter Obi becomes the president, he will listen to such. I don't know whether Atiku to know when he contest more. But let's focus back on the discussion here. Sometimes the bus conductor demands higher prices practically overnight. I don't have enough money with me, she explained. Sorry. I can hardly afford to shop at the market, and all customers have this problem of dwelling fund. Not just the poorer ones. Around 52% of Nigerians struggle to make ends meet. 52%. That is extremely high. Nígbà tí 52% of Nigerians struggle. Ojila anything. You know, anonymity. Cheap. I spent about almost £50 just yesterday alone. Go cheap. And by the time I look at all the items, it's not cheap. Especially in the money, over expensive. But the difference is that awashi rishe tawa no she, but commit the UK. Great lights up. Politics is full of lies. And it's true. As like I said, let's keep it for 1 hour. We will come back again and have more discussion. But before we go, let's read more. Everyday life has become a test of endurance for most people in Nigeria. Every day, every blessed day, Toba Jini no Nigeria, it has become a test of endurance. Because motoma bapade, okay, only 2,000 naira lower. Inga Toba jade to sọ pé owó boss ti di kíní kan. By the time you look at owó tó wà lọ́wọ́, o lè fẹ́ jẹun, o lè fẹ́ survive. Income o de wọlé, and many Nigerians are working on a daily basis. Tó bá jáde ló máa róúnjẹ. Tó bá ti jáde problem ni. But the food prices are at the highest level in over 20 years, and high inflation and skyrocketing transportation costs are exacerbating the cost of living crisis. Ìyẹn mo ṣe béèrè pé ṣé àwọn kan wà behind this agenda to make Nigerians to suffer? And if those people are there, what do we do? And how do we resolve these issues? Especially if our Yoruba. Economic progress, because I have just about 3 minutes. Economic progress is but pains remain. The consequence of COVID-19 pandemic, a deteriorating security situation and supply chain. Too hot. That's the reason why we have to, kind of almost end it, so that because the heat is affecting the phones as well. So mo ki gbogbo eyan wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé eni aju wa ṣe bí a ṣe ń sọ pé kí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó san wá sówó kó san wá sàlàáfíà bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ló ṣe máa rí gbogbo àwọn tó bá wá ń sọ pé kò ní rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ó kù yín torí pé àwa mọ̀ pé ó gbọ́dọ̀ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ó máa dẹ̀ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìgbà tó máa rí bẹ́ẹ̀ òun náà ni à ń pariwo ẹ̀ lójoojúmọ́ sódà kí a lè jọ dé ilẹ̀ lérí wo là ń sọ ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjìrè tó máa wà fún èmi tó máa wà fún ìwọ tó máa wà fún àwọn ọmọ ẹ àti àwọn gbogbo èèyàn tó bá jẹ́ àwọn olólùfẹ́ wa. So lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí like I said ẹ má bínú èèyàn wa on the YouTube I only have 3 minutes because heat yẹn won't affect the phone yẹn so won't shut it down. So just to to wind it down, Nigeria implemented difficult but necessary reforms in 2023 to stabilize the macroeconomic, according to the World Bank. The resulting price pressure has further eroded household purchasing power. Àwọn èèyàn ní owó tó pọ̀ láti ra nǹkan sínú ilé láti fi bọ́ àwọn ọmọ wọn ọkọ ṣiṣẹ́ títí owó tó ń gbà kò lè fi tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ nínú ilé. Although recent macroeconomic reforms have led to economic stabilization, inflation remains high. I am barely surviving, according to Uche, who works at a store that sells games for entertainment, saying it is no longer enough 3 meals a day, he told DW. Emmanuel, who also runs a photo studio in Lagos, complained about the overall business environment. In any country, if you have not put measures in place to cushion the overall business environment, people will also suffer. What do I mean by that? I have told you there must be adequate infrastructure that takes people from one end to the other. Mukiyawa Grace Olushoto. And as we are coming to the end of this broadcast, because I said it's going to be 1 hour, and I don't want it to go more than 1 hour. On the road to recovery, Tinubu took 2 decisive steps. It cut the largest subsidy, the currency and the gasoline. The naira was regulated instead of the market determining the price. Clark, an economic expert at the African Research Institute, based in Berlin and Nigeria, told DW, this had a massive negative impact. It had, but it was not carried out with sensitive and caution, and the currency rapidly lost value. In addition, there were cuts in energy price subsidy. Transportation costs rose so high that civil servants no longer went to work for 5 days a week. So we hope that our governors, I know that they are campaigning for election now. They don't have time for anybody right now. One, need time for any kokonisi. Our governors, because some of them are going while some are coming back. Probably maybe 1 or 2. I know Osun State is coming back. Osun Loma Kokoshe election in August. Dakwa has completed his 8 years, is going. Sheima Kinde has completed his 8 years, is going. So, a lot of changes. Sanwo-Olu has completed his 8 years, they are going. So right now, and this week, politics in the wiki, because as April 23rd, one man nominate and to my Lagos State. Ogun State. So right now they're not interested in anything more than politics. But we will continue to hammer and tell them that the lives of our people, it has been very difficult. And we pray and hope that things will change. Somebody's asking me, do you trust the World Bank and what they tell us about African nations? What do we do when we don't have our own stability to make decisions? I was reading about IMF man advise America, and they advise America, but does America follow whatever IMF is saying? So you cannot say World Bank is doing the best for Africa. It is entirely up to the Africans to take decision because we have the natural resources that the world needs. But since we have refused to put things in place, the world will continue to tell us and dictate to us. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. I hope you enjoy, the very short 60 minutes on our channel this morning, and we hope to be back. Grace Olushoto says, and quote, it is too costly. Most people in European countries are the ones sending money to their loved ones to help so that they won't die ultimate death. Everything is getting complicated. Where do we go from here? Mokai not here, not Osun Ekiti, own as well. It's June. Okay, so I'm told that Ekiti, not Osun Ekiti, ni June. But I think Osun State governorship election is going to happen in August. But whatever it is, all our governors, all the politicians, I can tell you, they're not interested in anything more than how they return back to power. I pray things will get better. Self-determination has indicated that we are right and we are still on track, and we will continue to highlight it across board. Thank you so much for watching and spending the very first morning with us. Thank you so much, Yoruba Space TV, for watching and also giving us the gift as well. Mr. Odulayo Oluwafemi Eshegoni. And I have to go now because, like I said, the day is I have a message here from Yawa. Otojometa Grandma Mojade Sonya. Inira Iluwapo. How I wish Tinubu changed his mind to help the Yorubas. He has been good to the North for too long. Thank you so much. And on that note, we end it this way. We will do something again in the evening when we sit down, but I do different angle. And probably maybe my staff will be out as well. Continue to support this channel. Continue to subscribe. But most importantly, let's fund this platform. There's a lot that it can do to continue to highlight the danger that many Nigerians are living today. God bless you and God bless us. Bye for now. Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Ireo, bye for now.